And that's why I believe the use of supercritical fluid technology becomes the key to basically making fish oil more biologically active to achieve the goals you're looking to achieve.
Hello and welcome to the Wellness Zone podcast, where we discuss the science of wellness, metabolism, and the dietary pathways to maintain them. I'm Mary Perry, and I'm joined with Dr. Barry Sears, and today we're talking about what's new in the world of omega-3 fatty acids. So, Dr. Sears, let's just first get into some of the basics here, but when we talk about omega-3s, we talk about fish oil, and there's a lot of different things that go with omega-3s, but can you tell us a little bit about omega-3s, fish oil, and really, are we getting enough within our diet?
Well, first of all, omega-3 fatty acids are essential nutrients. What does that mean? You have to have them or you're going to die. So basically, having adequate levels of omega-3 fatty acids is a critical aspect if you want to live a longer and better life. Now, do Americans eat a lot of fish? Well, not really. They like to have things like codfish, but they don't like things like sardines. It's the fatty fish that contain the omega-3 fatty acids. And as a consequence, most Americans are woefully short of these essential fatty acids. And why is that important? Because they control inflammation. What does inflammation do? It controls your life. The more you control inflammation, the longer you live.
And in some of these statistics, Barry, we are seeing that it's almost 90% of Americans are falling short on their intake of omega-3s, just to put some data behind the number of just how much we're not getting in the diet.
Well, actually, it's worse than that. We should first ask the question, how many Americans are taking extra omega-3 fatty acids? The data suggests right now about 10% of Americans. But those over age 60, it rises to about 20%. Why are they concerned? Heart disease, the primary killer of older Americans. Now, are they taking enough? The data says no, even at those levels. So again, what's enough? Well, we do have some information from clinical trials. If you want to decrease the risk of dying from heart disease, you'll need about 2.5 grams of omega-3 fatty acids per day. Now, how many Americans are getting that amount? Maybe
Not
1%,
many.
not many at all. But here's the problem, that at those levels, with current fatty acids being used, there is a slight possibility of increasing a cardiovascular condition called AFib. Now, what does AFib do? It causes a flutter in your heart. And that could possibly give rise to a clot that could leave the heart and basically cause a stroke. Now, it's a very small risk, but it's still a risk. But the question is, well, if I take less fish oil, yes, the risk of AFib goes down, but also your benefits of fish oil in reducing heart disease also evaporate. So you're between a rock and a hard place until you have new technologies that can now basically refine the fish oil to, I think, reduce the likelihood of having AFib. Now, the question is, how do you refine fish oil? Good question. No one seems to know, so I'll try to explain shortly. What do? You have to squeeze the oil out of the fish. Most fish oil and most fish products go to feed farm animals. And so in part of the process of making a fish meal or even fish products, you basically squeeze out and get crude oil, which is just rotten to the core. Now you have to refine it to a great extent to make it suitable for human consumption and concentrate it. You go through a multi-step process, and that usually gives rise to a lot of residues, which means you need a final cleanup step. In the past, the step has been using a technology called molecular distillation. So what is that? You heat the fish oil up at incredibly high temperatures, like 400 degrees Fahrenheit. And now basically you can distill the omega-3 fatty acids off and leave all of the residue behind, like asphalt. The only trouble is at those temperatures, you can now start to induce isomerization in the omega-3 fatty acids, turn them into trans fatty acids. Now, the omega-3 fatty acids are transferred from powerful nutrients to potential anti-nutrients. So what's the solution? The solution is finding a new technology, and that's what supercritical fluid technology does. It basically allows you to condense carbon dioxide, a gas, at high enough pressures it becomes a liquid. Now you can basically take the pre-material you're looking to refine, dissolve them in this liquefied carbon dioxide. It's called supercritical fluid, carbon dioxide, and that basically extracts all the good omega-3 fatty acids at a lower temperature, thus decreasing the amount of potential isomerization and potentially decreasing the formation of clots. What does that mean to you? Now you have omega-3 fatty acids, which are more biologically potent. And that allows you to basically either take larger amounts that have greater benefits. More importantly, it allows you to basically have now a pathway for living a longer and better life.
So Dr. Sears, throughout the years, we've always seen these studies that pop up about omega-3s and prostate cancer, and now we're seeing AFib. And it is always kind of startling for people when they see these headlines. But to what you just addressed, you do need these higher levels in your body to really see a benefit for health. So, just making sure it has the purification and potency that you need, those are really key factors when looking into an omega-3 product, coupled with this new SCF technology.
Well, and that's why that you don't see this problem at low levels, but at the same time, you don't see any cardiovascular benefits. But that's why I'm taking the fish oil. Say, yes, but you got to take enough to make a difference. And that's why I believe the use of supercritical fluid technology becomes the key to basically making fish oil more biologically active to achieve the goals you're looking to achieve. But again, like a drug, you got to take enough to make a difference.
Dr. Sears, one last question on this, because we talked about the high temperatures. What about antioxidant blends that are used when processing fish oil? Does that help with this higher temperature and some of this isomerization, or is sort of the damage done with the higher temps?
The damage is already done. So basically adding any antioxidants after the fact, basically it's adding antioxidants, but has not solved the problem. Mm-hmm. So it's really at the final refining stage that you basically want to do that at the lowest possible temperature. So now basically you have the most biologically potent fish oil to do its job, which is to reduce inflammation in every organ in your body, including the heart.
All right. I said last question, but now I have one more. Okay. So for our listeners who are currently taking molecularly distilled fish oil, or somebody like me that's been taking it for 15 years, there's no concern. It's more just the fact that moving forward, if you can get onto this newest technology, there's a level of protection that comes from, developing some of these issues that might arise with AFib. Is that correct?
Exactly. And this is why we do technology. It always takes an existing product to make it better. And so we know the levels of fish oil we need to get a cardiovascular benefit, and now apply new technologies to reduce the very low risk. It does exist, but a low risk of developing AFib. The end result, you make a better product, and everybody basically benefits.